Hi, I'm Alyssa, and this is my okay. Hi, I'm Alyssa. This is my God. Hi, I'm Alyssa, and this is my media project. I wanted to look at a form of media that's relevant to my generation, widely used and effective at communicating: social media. I chose Instagram and Snapchat based off research I found in my literature review. The topic I chose is something that myself and many people I know can relate to, which is body image, which follows week 8 of the syllabus, How Does Gender Matter for How We Think About Our Bodies? In my first literature review, I found that women outnumber men on social media platforms, which is extremely uncommon compared to traditional media. Both men and women tend to have a majority of female friends on their friends list, and men post photos on Facebook that make them seem active and independent, while women focus more on looking attractive. Ads also typically show complete figures of women, but close-up shots for men. In my second literature review, it was proven that there's a pattern between social media use and body dissatisfaction, eating disorders symptoms, and thoughts about using steroids, particularly with image-centric platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, rather than non-image-centric platforms like WordPress or Twitter. Additionally, college-aged men who spent greater time using image-centric platforms were found to be associated with self-objectification. The first social media aspect I looked at was the selfie. According to an examination done by my third source, Computers and Human Behavior, out of 500 selfies, half men and half women, researchers discovered that women's selfies were far more likely to reflect gender stereotypes than 183 print ads used for comparison, which was shown in 4 ways. The withdrawing gaze, not looking directly at the camera, a feminine touch, touching something like your face or something else, an imbalance, your body posed in weird ways, or a loss of control, like a crazy facial expression or something. Additionally, selfies of young women also featured even more gender-specific poses like the kissing pout or the faceless selfie showing off just their body. This was also representative in male selfies, which tended to feature muscle presentation to give off an implication of strength. The target audience consisted of young people who posted selfies publicly on Instagram, and I included Kendall Jenner because millions of people follow her and are influenced by her posts, which helps fuel stereotypes. The selfies I found were largely representative of the research. There was a much higher amount of female selfies, most of which fit the 4 stereotypes in some way. I believe there's a gender-related power structure in these relationships, which is that men think it's not as acceptable to post selfies given the low amount of male selfies that I found. Additionally, women feel a bigger need to prove themselves to onlookers that they're attractive without trying too hard. Next, I looked at Snapchat. The ever-popular Snapchat filters were designed with an unrealistic beauty standard in mind. Skin smoothed out, the eyes are made bigger, and your face is slimmed down. Data from my fourth source, the JAMA Network, showed that 55% of young people wanted to invest in plastic surgery to improve their appearance in selfies, which was a 13% increase from 2016. This is extremely dangerous because Snapchat users are super young, with 70% of 13 to 17-year-olds using it multiple times a day. These filters were much more popular among women than men because 0 images of men turned up when I was searching for images. The photos I found were all of women with young women with an apathetic look on their face, like they knew that they were being digitally altered. This may have a positive short-term effect on a woman who uses the filter because it makes her look good in that moment, but a negative long-term effect when she questions why she doesn't always look like that. This leads to women using apps like Facetune or Photoshop to pick apart their faces in every picture that they post and edit them. Men have become more aware of this. And some will voice a dislike for it, saying they want a woman who's natural or looks good without a filter. This creates 2 opposite ends that women feel the need to please at the same time, which is why no makeup selfies that have still been edited are becoming more common. In the end, Snapchat filters fuel both gender stereotypes for men and women. Lastly, I looked at the fitness culture on Instagram. Since young people prefer splurging and working it off in the gym later rather than eating healthy, this community has grown rapidly, increasing the pressure that people feel for posting their own bodies online. According to my fifth source, the American Psychological Association, men feel the need to lose weight and build muscle, while women feel the need to be as small as possible and rid themselves of any imperfections like stretch marks or cellulite. Fitspiration accounts lead this charge, even though many feel such immense pressure to be perfectly in shape all the time that they use fake poses to make their body look more toned. Some have come out and posted their real angles, but the pressure is still great nonetheless. These Fitspo influencers were unanimously female. Both genders are expected to look good all the time, especially on social media, which perpetuates gender roles. The men are made to seem like they should be perfectly chiseled and buff, especially if they're not tall, which is another gender role that men feel the need to be for women. And on the other hand, women are expected to be either thin but toned or have Kardashian-sized curves but a flat stomach. Influencers who post real pictures of themselves help positively defy these stereotypes. And men and women respect each other in the fitness community and can support each other through this pressure. I found many messages on how gender roles are depicted through social media's effects on body image. Both men and women experience body image pressure on social media in different ways. Women are expected to have zero imperfections and look completely flawless all the time. And men are expected to be fit, manly, and confident, but without posting on social media too much as to not come across as like desperate or douchey. The Instagram selfies emulated gender stereotypes and were depicted to be positive from the outside, but could easily be negative depending on the person's life behind the camera. The Snapchat filter characters were depicted to be negative because they can tell straight off the bat that they're being digitally altered into something that they cannot naturally be, and this feeling carries into the future when they look at unedited pictures of themselves and pick them apart. This emulates the gender stereotype of women feeling the need to be impossibly perfect. The Instagram Fitspo characters were depicted to be both positive and negative, depending on how that person actually feels behind the scenes, similar to the Instagram selfies. Since exercise releases endorphins, there's a bigger chance that these people are actually positively affected by the pressure. However, onlookers that don't take part in the fitness community are negatively affected, along with famous Fitspo influencers and extremely active people who feel like they can't ever live up to the impossible standard of perfection that they have set for themselves based off what they think society wants to see. I wouldn't want my child to learn about gender roles from social media. Even though there's some realness out there, it's easier for young minds to see the perfect worlds that most people are posting and think that's realistic instead of the actual realistic times. Body image issues start extremely young and will only continue to grow stronger as that person remains online seeing these gender stereotypes. What I found the most interesting was the 4 feminine selfie poses. What I found the most disturbing was the increase in the want of plastic surgery, and the most surprising was the lack of the real fitness pictures from men. Even though men feel pressure to have perfect bodies just like women, they don't feel the need to fake it like women do. Okay, that's my project. Thank you.